Here's your Forbes Daily Briefing for Sunday, May 12th. Today on Forbes, at Max Altman's Saga Ventures, an unlikely trio raises $125 million to invest outside Silicon Valley hype. Investors Thomson Nguyen and Ben Braverman were interviewing with big venture capital firms about potential roles last September when they met in San Francisco to discuss a different option, teaming up with Max Altman. Younger brother to Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, along with Jack Altman, the former CEO of Lattice, Max had spent nearly a decade investing alongside them through funds Hydrazine Capital, Apollo Projects, and Altman Capital. But he'd left San Francisco for Austin, Texas, in part to get some breathing room from the family name, and now he wanted to branch out with a new firm. Braverman, the former chief revenue officer at logistics unicorn Flexport, and Nguyen, an entrepreneur who'd recently sold his second startup, had both made smaller investments through Flexport and the Y Combinator network. With Altman, they'd get to be co-founders, while still leveling up their deal-making and check sizes. The result is Saga Ventures, a $125 million fund focused on early-stage software startups led by Altman, Braverman, and Nguyen as general partners. The partners told Forbes that Saga plans to invest around $2 to $2.5 million across 30 companies with the fund, leading or co-leading early-stage rounds. Saga's strategy isn't reinventing the wheel. The partners plan to invest in classic software-as-a-service startups in categories like work software and fintech, building off combined past investments such as manufacturing startup Hadrian, finance software maker Ramp, and space-based drug developer Varda. AI, unsurprisingly, is another area of interest. But where Saga hopes to approach venture a bit differently is to focus on applications for people outside the tech set. Altman told Forbes, quote, "The low-hanging fruit today is using technology, which today is AI, and applying it to really hard problems that are going to affect every American. You have to build a tool that someone in Houston or Minneapolis is going to be able to use." After interning as a Duke undergraduate for Steve Anderson, the former Midas List investor, Altman was hired as one of the first product managers at Zenefits. While at the human resources software startup, Altman was known for arguing that tech companies shouldn't build products just for other tech companies, according to former CEO Parker Conrad. Conrad said, quote, "He was always pushing the position that you need to build for businesses across the country." That approach took more of a back seat for a time, however, at Hydrazine Capital, where Altman joined older brother Sam to help manage his expanding venture fund. They would back a number of early Y Combinator companies, including social media site Reddit and smart email service Superhuman, as well as Conrad's next venture, Rippling, where Max Altman briefly took a job. Those funds are a big reason that Forbes called Sam Altman a billionaire earlier this year. As the older Altman spent more time on OpenAI, Max Altman increasingly managed its day-to-day operations, an arrangement they continued with Apollo Projects, another family affair that looped in Jack Altman. Apollo Projects was supposed to focus on moonshots and deep tech bets, they told Forbes in 2020, but it soon expanded into more traditional software companies, in part because of the high-cost, long-horizon nature of such ventures. With OpenAI's growth pushing Sam Altman to minimal involvement, Jack Altman and Max Altman next launched Altman Capital, a fund with outside capital that was often mistaken for a family office. Eventually, working full-time as brothers was proving more baggage than fun. Altman's alternate path began in 2021, when he stayed at a house in New York during the pandemic with some other tech sector folks, including Braverman, and the two became friends. At a separate tech confab in Hawaii, Altman befriended Nguyen, who sold fintech startup Nearside to Plastique in 2022, and was a prolific angel investor within the Y Combinator community. When the possibility of working together as a trio emerged, the three investors decided they had the rapport and the complementary skill sets and networks for a lasting fund. Nguyen plans to remain in San Francisco, Altman in Austin, and Braverman in New York. After spending the fall discussing their options, they decided that a relatively smaller fund with a concentrated investment portfolio would give the best chance for success. For full coverage, check out Alex Conrad's piece on Forbes.com. This is Kieran Meadows from Forbes. Thanks for tuning in.